So this is our demo environment. What I want to go over first, I'm sure some people might not be familiar with our site dashboard, so I'll do just a quick overview of our site dashboard, and then I'll jump into an example that showcases the Qube light and the fence line together. So this is a test facility. This is a real natural gas facility that's allowed us to deploy our products and test their performance. So what you'll see here on the site dashboard, the first thing whenever you come into our platform is you'll see a map in the top left corner. That map will have a drone image overview of your site. And then on that image, we overlay sources and our devices. So the sources are these black dots, and you can see the black dots all over this site. These are the sources that we've identified. And then the colored icons are the Qube devices. Now, there's a lot of Qube devices. This wouldn't be typical for deployment, but we've put so many on this site just for the testing purposes with this test facility. On the map, you can see these icons on the top left. These are really just icons that allow you to improve the visualization of the site. So for sources, I can toggle on kind of source icons to see what types of sources. So these are all tanks. These ones down at the south are compressors, and these are separators and so forth. And then I can also toggle on device labels. So specifically, if I'm looking for a particular device, I can toggle these on and off. Devices specifically, the circular devices are our Qube fence line. If I zoom in on our tanks, the square ones are our Qube lights. And then the triangular ones that you see here are the cameras. If I hover on the camera, you can kind of see the field of view that pokes out at the end of the triangle. On the site dashboard, the key feature is you can pick a timeline view. So you can set the time range, and then that'll kind of set the emissions data that you're visualizing for that time period selected. So you can pick any time range for the site, and it'll filter and show all the emissions data for that period. For this example specifically, I'm focused on December 13th. And then once you pick the time range, the visuals on the bottom left underneath the map are time series charts, which will then update for the time range selected. So this first widget that you see here, this is what we call our timeline. This visualizes key events at the site and is a more rolled up view of things that are going on at the site. So the first thing you'll see on this timeline is an event. So we allow users to create user-created events at your site. This allows you to just create a start and end time that you want, add a title, and add comments. So you can add your own context to your timeline. And this example, we just added an event called a event thief hatch pop, a time frame, and then a comment about why that thief hatch popped. The next thing that you can also add in are third-party inspections. So for this site specifically, we have an aerial inspection, which is shown by this blue dot. And if I hover over it, you can see the plume that was provided by the aerial provider. So you can upload your aerial inspections, your KMZ files, or their images, and we can overlay and show them on the platform. So you can persist that or toggle it off. You can also go in and edit the details of that emission. And then lastly, we have the emissions. This is the output of our quantification model. Anytime there's a detection, we create an emission event, and then those time-bounded events can be summarized and rolled up into kind of this timeline view. Underneath that, we have these buttons that allow you to toggle on more time series views. If you have a fence line product, you could toggle on the CH4 rate. So this is the quantification model output through time, and with various averaging periods that you can view the data. Then we also have the raw data for the devices. So I'm showing the Qube light CH4 because that's the example we'll go into, but you can toggle on the CH4 for the fence line. You can see the actual raw data that was detected through time. Same with the Qube lights. And then any of the other gas sensors that are installed on the device, you can toggle them on. Then lastly, you can also see device battery, wind direction, and wind speed from the fence line devices. And then on the right side, I'll just toggle these off real quick. On the right side, we have kind of rolled up widgets that show the summarized emissions performance through time. So the first is our emissions by month. This is your total emissions by month for the site. Because this is a demo environment, we only have 1 month shown, but normally you would be able to move through time and see your other emissions volumes per month. We have an emissions versus baseline widget. Again, if you set a baseline for a site, which is what we always recommend, this would show you the performance of your emissions relative to baseline for the time period selected. And then lastly, we have an emissions rolled up kind of summary table, which groups your emissions by source groups, so tanks versus separators, compressors, and so forth, specific sources, and then just a list of your emissions. And then lastly, we have the event log. This is essentially this event timeline down here, but shown in tabular format, where you can see the specific events. You can come in, open, and see them. You can edit, change the events. You can add a new event in here if you want. Inspections as well. You can come in and see your inspections. You can edit your inspections, and you can add new inspections. So you can add a new aerial. You can load a KMZ file or manually add an aerial inspection with all the information in the plume and upload your aerial image, or you can add survey inspections, OGI or ABOs. You can add details on it, whether a detection was found, and add an Excel file. So that's the overview of the site dashboard. I know that's quite a bit, but if you'd like to get more info, again, you can always reach out to your Qube customer service rep.